What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at GuMiho's awesome mech play. If you're wondering, Mark, what the hell is this map? This is from the TLMC, the Team Liquid Map Contest, the tournament where map makers can submit their maps, win some prize money, and the best maps usually get incorporated into the ladder pool. And this was Wardy's $4,000 tournament on those maps. I really wanted to look at GuMiho today because GuMiho, for me, he's always so different. He has really crazy builds. And honestly, they always work a little bit better than I expect them to. So I just want to have a look from his POV, see how he does everything. And especially his mech play. His mech play is very different. I feel like mech in TvZ, it has like a very, the same formula that everyone follows. It's always the battle cruisers into the same timings, the 3cc, the armory timings, it's all the same. Because, we simply can't find another way to win with mech. But GuMiho, a lot of time he doesn't even go for battle cruisers. He has his completely own formula. If he even has a formula, to be honest. Like, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell with those players if they actually had their stuff planned all the time or if they're just going with the flow. Now, here's already going to start off with a nice CC first. I really like CC first as an opener. I haven't used it too much recently myself. And the biggest reason for that is that I feel like I just always want to put on a lot of pressure. Like, I think even just having like the Reaper early on so you can snowball into doing some damage or being annoying, it always feels really good. And I don't really like using these passive openers. But when I was a bit more confident in the matchup, in the macro games, I would definitely play CC first a lot more. Especially with mech. I'm not sure why, I guess it's just with mech I never felt like I had to keep the momentum up as much. So I definitely played a lot of CC first into mech in my own prime. And now we're going to see how GuMiho still makes it happen. I'm also going to go for the fast gases. Obviously, if you go CC first, you do need to take both gases very fast, or you'll just never be able to get an armory. It seems like GuMiho does have the same timings I used to do. So he goes for CC first, then the barracks, and then the double gas. And you would say the factory comes out late, but keep in mind you still need to make this into an orbital, costing a lot of money. And then you can use this one to make the factory. The positioning here, by the way, just a quick bonus to playing CC first, is that CC first is insanely good against pool first. And you would imagine why, you don't have units. So the difference is that when 6 Zerglings arrive in your base, the command center here is already finished. So the Zerglings will have nothing to deny. And then the Reaper comes out at a good enough timing to just, slowly kite all the Zerglings to death. And you won't lose a lot. Historically, when I used CC first, it was pretty much as a counter to pool first, actually. When it was being spammed a lot. It's going for a very fast third command center here. That's definitely interesting. Let's see on the other side, Armani doesn't seem to be doing anything crazy. Obviously, this version GuMiho is doing is a little bit greedy. If this was like a very fast roachal in from the other side, GuMiho would probably not be prepared for it. Instead, he's just keeping his Reaper at home to make sure the Zerglings don't slip by into the base. Don't get like a free scout off. But obviously this is slightly on the greedy side. If your opponent does a regular roachal in from 3 bases, this would actually be fine. But anything too early would definitely be very strong against this. Let's go on GuMiho's POV. I do like to skip the early game these days when I go to players' POVs because they spam a bit too much. Now, let's see. Okay, he is a little bit of a spammer. Maybe it will get better as he has to start controlling his units a little bit. Seems like he is going into Banshee. Could still be Battlecruiser here. Battlecruiser is what people normally would do, but I know GuMiho likes to go even speed Banshee sometimes. This definitely looks like a normal Banshee. There we go. Could still be speed Banshees later on, but for now this is just normal. Takes both the gases at about 355. Well, if you want to make those timings easy for yourself, you can totally make that 4 minutes, by the way. Like, if something is that close to a full minute, and it just helps you remember to make your gases on time, you can totally just say you make both your gases at 4 minutes instead of 355. Now, it is very noticeable that he doesn't really do anything with his Heliots. I guess this is kind of the build that I would personally use as a mind game. Like, if I play a really good player and I want to be greedy, or if I just play a player that I know doesn't all in, this is the kind of build I would play. He's also going for the double armory right away. I don't think it's really cute that he actually made them like one in each mineral line. So you have an Overlord with Scout, it's actually pretty unlikely to find both armories. And you would think, like, what is the difference? Well, the difference is that 2 armories instantly feels like a bit greedy. If I see 2 armories right away as Zerg, I would probably do like a really sick all-in to counter it. If you only see 1, it just looks like a normal play and you might not, you know, be tempted to punish it. I was actually going to go for a Viking after the Banshee. I feel like usually it's the other way around. You make the Viking to the 3rd Overlord and then you go for the Banshee, but I guess, like honestly having a Viking anyway, it just feels good. Like not having those annoying Overlords in random corners around your base. It's just a good feeling to get the denial on those. So I totally get that. That's one of the things I was talking about though. Like, I feel like you'd pretty much only see GuMiho do like weird, you know, steps like that. Changing up the order of when to make units, doing it all his own way. And now he's making 2 factories and I see roaches. I wonder what his response is gonna be here. Because if I see roaches being built when I'm playing greedy with mech, it's definitely very scary. I also see a Nidus go down on production tab. GuMiho hasn't scouted it yet. Now the Viking actually, I'm not sure if this was intentional by the way, but the Viking is a really good counter to Niduses. And this sounds kind of stupid because, you know, what does a Viking do? But if, yeah, very simply put, if there's no vision on the other side of the map, Niduses are just way weaker. And you could say, well, they can just pop down the Nidus on the front, and this is true. But nothing is more dangerous than a Nidus in the main here. Let's see how this trade goes. Gonna trade some Hellions, yeah. So as I was saying, there's nothing more dangerous than a Nidus already in the main. Even worse on the production behind the mineral line here. Like if you actually have to pop down the Nidus on the front, it's not quite as dangerous. And here you see it's actually helping him a lot already. Because if he didn't kill that Overlord in the corner next to his base, with the Viking, this Nidus would have come down and he would have been in a lot of trouble. So the Viking may actually have saved the game there for GuMiho. I see there's a few units in front of his base. I'm not sure if he quite saw it. He's seeing them with his Viking now, I believe. And this is what I really love to see, by the way. GuMiho straight up going for Thor drops. Obviously, in this case, he's going to have to use them to defend. He actually finds the roaches here too. But Thor drop used to be a super popular opener that I really spammed to the max. And I haven't really been using it a lot, but GuMiho is kind of bringing it back here. These Thors are actually trading insanely well, by the way, against this small army. And he's even making more Thors as a follow-up. That's kind of crazy. I hope he repairs that. Okay, thank goodness. Nothing worse than seeing like a one Thor that could have been repaired die to like one roach or something like that. So now he's going to bring the Thors back in. I think this was a pretty good start by GuMiho because he did kill like the small squad at his 3rd base. Now the interesting part is that he's actually making more Thors. Normally with this you go for 2 Thors and then you transition. GuMiho is straight up making 4 Thors and 4 medevacs for a quadruple Thor drop. And don't forget, GuMiho is 1-1 here already. So I think these Thors actually 2-shot roaches. Yeah, it seems like they do. They 2-shot roaches right now, guys. It's actually a big difference. Or do they? I'm actually not quite sure if they do. I think it's close with +1. Maybe you need +2 for it. Yeah, it looks like it is indeed a 3-shot. All right. That's unfortunate. That would have been really sick if +1 Thors 2-shot them. I always underestimate the roaches' HP by 10. I always think it's like 125, but I think it's... Oh, it's 145 even. Okay, I thought I underestimated by 10, so it was 135. But it's actually 145 HP on the roach. Okay, yeah. So then they definitely don't 2-shot them. Maybe you even need +3 for that then. But yeah, by that time, obviously, Zerg will have their own armor upgrades as well. He's going to keep juggling those Thors, trying to defend this. At the same time, he's actually casually dropping a 4th base in the middle of all of this. Getting his 2-2 upgrade. Seems like he's very confident. And this, honestly, what you're seeing here is the strength of a greedy playstyle. And it sounds silly because he's getting all in, right? But what happens if you're greedy is, let's say you play a normal middle-of-the-rail playstyle. If you hold an attack, if you hold an all-in, most of the time you don't even really find yourself ahead because you don't have the extra SCVs. You don't have the extra upgrades that you would have had. And you still have to do a normal transition just like your opponent. But right now, he had the double armory. He's working on his 2-2. His eco was so good he was able to start a 4th base in the middle of this. And now it really looks like he's winning hard. If GuMiho didn't have these upgrades as good, wouldn't have this 4CC started, yeah, I wouldn't call this game over by any means. It maybe even would have been just even. But now, with that hold with the 4 Thors, definitely looking pretty good for GuMiho. Even though he made some mistakes. At the start of this Nidus attack, he actually did pull all of his SCVs to attack the Nidus, even before his units were there to support. So he basically lost the entire main mineral line for free. He would have lost those anyway, but he could have used those to tank for his units later on. So definitely some mistakes being made, but yeah. This build order, it feels like if you get away with this, this looks pretty insane, to be honest, what GuMiho is doing. Now he's just working on the follow-up at the same time, getting Blue Flame. Probably gonna get servos pretty soon. And he's gonna bring the starport back to a tech lab. So he had it on the reactor to make medevacs. But now it seems like he wants to go back to making banshees, which sounds kind of crazy to me. But yeah, I mean, it is GuMiho we're talking about. I told you guys he did like his speed banshees. And since there's no fusion core being dropped, I guess it just has to be banshees. Or a raven, maybe. Could be a raven as well. Let's see what he drops. But he did make 4 medevacs, right? Oh, he lost 2 already? Or did he maybe not finish them? I guess he must have lost them at some point when I wasn't looking. Maybe to like the queens in the main or something. Yeah, there we go. He's actually going to go for banshees with speed. Looking at the production tab, Armani is actually making Swarm Host, which makes banshees pretty decent. I think it kind of depends on how many queens there are, right? Because if there's a lot of queens defending the Swarm Host, obviously the banshees don't do anything. But yeah, if you split the map a little bit, if you attack on the top side, attack on the left side while the banshees are taking care of the Swarm Host somewhere in the middle, then they're going to be very, very effective. But we'll just have to see. I'm not sure if he actually caught a glimpse of the Swarm Host yet, and that's the reason why he switched to banshees, or if it was just a timing thing he does normally. I guess we'll find out. Let's see what GuMiho's army looks like right now. He has 17 Hellions, 10 tanks, and 3 Thors. And this is what I'm a bit afraid of with the Swarm Host. When you have a map with rocks like this, Swarm Hosts are really good on it because you can always just use the rocks as free cover while jumping over. And there's Thors in the top. Actually gonna lose those for free while being distracted. That's definitely a bit of a bummer. I think he also lost 2 tanks at home. So this wave of Swarm Hosts was definitely effective. Let's see how GuMiho is gonna deal with all of this. Now, the biggest thing here to me is just that he has the upgrades, like, yeah, super well developed. He's getting 3-3 on the way. If there's 3-3 mech against 1-1 Roach Ravager, I think it's safe to say the mech has just a small advantage, you know. I think the mech units will do pretty well there. Also making a lot of Cyclones. Did he get Macfield already? He does have Macfield. And I think, when I think of speed banshees, I think of the style I used to do, which is you go mass Cyclone Hellion with speed banshees, you control the map, you split, you know, your enemy's attention, so if they ever leave an area without anti-air, you can dive in with speed banshees, etc. And it does seem like that kind of is what GuMiho is gonna go for. He's on 6 factories. That's kind of a weird factory count. You know, Terran has a very, like, typical progression of production facilities. You go from 3 barracks or 3 factories to 5 to 8, respectively for 2, 3, and 4 bases, right? But he has 6, which is, yeah, it feels kind of random, but maybe, you know, this is another one of those magic GuMiho formulas I was talking about. And very interesting is that he's actually only making Cyclones. He's losing a lot of his tanks here. He's losing a big part of his, like, you know, the power to his push. But he's still only reinforcing it with Cyclones. And I think considering their Swarm Host, this is a really good idea. To me, this really makes sense. It would have been awesome if he used his Banshees to defend this. Let's see. Oh, he does only have 2, so these are actually all of his Banshees. Okay. Hey, the Cyclones are insane here. When you can scan, every lock-on is just a dead roach with Macfield. Those trades are probably pretty good. He's currently 3k up in resources lost, which is very good. And one thing that's really good about GuMiho this game is that he just took a lot of bases. Like, if you look at his map, the Zerg looks absolutely in shambles. You know, there's no base here. This base is gone. He's scrambling to take this base on the left. And at the same time, GuMiho already has, like, his 5-base shield in his corner of the map. And he's even taking a 6 base in the corner. It's not a PF, it's not an orbital, there's nothing there. But it's, yeah, it's still mining for him and he's doing a good job at it. So, definitely a very good expanding pace by GuMiho. Like, don't forget this game started with a Nidus that definitely did a lot of damage to GuMiho, killed 20 SCVs, but even at 14 minutes, he's already chilling on 6 bases over here. And let's see how he manages this Swarm Host wave. Looks like he has enough Hellbats. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. So many tanks here as well. This positioning was actually pretty awesome by GuMiho. If you look at this, his tanks were all near the top, near the ledge, and his Hellbats were all near the front. So they were really well covered from the Swarm Host. And I think in general, putting your tanks like close to a ledge like this, it is super useful. Because the Swarm Host can't get surface area on them, right? Now he's just YOLOing up into the natural. His tanks are covering, but I think not quite enough. So Armani could use this little area to get his roses back into the natural to clean this up. I imagine at the same time GuMiho must have a pretty good Cyclone Force already. Yeah, there we go. And honestly, if you're rich as Zerg, trading against Cyclones is fine. In this scenario, Armani is definitely going to have some trouble out-trading these Cyclones with the economy that he has. It's not like GuMiho has too many SCVs, but definitely a sizable eco lead. But it's a pretty cool move. Let's see if he splits the roaches well enough for this. If he doesn't split those, he would actually just lose all of them for free, I think. I would like to see how this one pans out. Okay, he's going to split them a little bit. See how the friendly fire goes for him. Do it. Okay. Oh, those tanks are all on 1 HP. Wow, look at that. Oh, he's actually going to micro it perfectly. GuMiho with the desperation scan. Does the Roach win? Okay, well done by Armani. Roach gets them all. I feel like, honestly, I would have loved that if he GG'd after that. Like, he just wanted to prove that he was good, winning the micro battle at the end, you know, and then leave the game, like, knowing he has lost. Because obviously, how many Cyclones is he? He has 16 Cyclones. He has more Cyclones than there's, you know, Roaches on the map. Roach Ravager combined, it's almost the same. If there were Infestors here, alright. Without Infestors to lock down the Cyclones, probably not going to be quite as epic. And this must have been pretty disappointing for Armani, trying to launch Locust at a third base that, yeah, quite literally wasn't doing anything. There were no SCVs there, nothing at all. I do feel like GuMiho's army movement is much more aggressive than I would expect. And I'm not sure if it's good or not, but he really just keeps running into the bases, you know? Like, he doesn't take, like, a good position, like, doesn't try to scan where the roaches are. He quite literally always just runs in. And the benefit of that is that he always kills a lot of drones before the fight even starts, because, you know, no one really would expect that. The downside is that I feel like the fights he takes might not be as good. Like, Cyclones obviously are a pretty bad fighting unit. It's all about the lock-ons, right? If you really get into a direct fight, Cyclones is not really what you want to have. It looks like Armani finally is going to get some damage done. Actually, the SCVs are already repairing. I think he's not even going to kill this. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like it's pretty rare to see Locust not kill a PF. But GuMiho with the reactions just on time. And alright, GuMiho with the quadruple Thor drop into mass Cyclone style. Definitely a very cool game. This is the kind of games I like to play, but I'll be honest, I haven't really succeeded too much in making this style work recently. Maybe GuMiho giving, you know, some new life into the style. Would be nice to see other people try it as well. I'll give it a shot as well, of course, as always. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys had a good time. Don't forget to someone like, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.